Good morning. I know it's been a little bit since I've done any videos on the application that I'm developing, to release for everybody. I'm still it looks like on the outskirts of it when you see it, it looks like it nothing, like I haven't really done anything with it, but I honestly have. There's a lot of coding going on underneath. I'm refactoring things. And I've went ahead and put in a couple extra features that I kind of want to share. In the spirit of sharing, I want to kind of show some things that I think were kind of important in the overall scheme of things, and might actually be something that everyone or someone might be able to use. So one of the things I did is you have different forms. These would be each one of these would be like a form in and of itself. These are all just different forms or windows. Windows calls them forms, but they're like people. Some people call them windows, but they're like different forms. So I went ahead and added a flag, a bit. It's just a bit to where you can define a list in here as being a list that you can add items to. And what this does is this basically gives me the ability to drag and drop either from a list like here, like you can just drag and drop from here, which is a reference. It'll be like a text reference, or you could go over and drag and drop, let's say, a file. You could drag and drop, so you can drag and drop files. Well, the drag and drop always existed for these two lists, but now there is a flag you can set which makes it so that if you set up this list, so if you define, you have a form over here that you define. So if you define a form and then you say, okay, this is the name of the form, that's the title of it, which it goes by the title. If you define a form and then you say, okay, these are the controls, the list view is a control, this is the menu that's associated with that particular form or list, you can actually set a flag to where it will allow you to drag and drop either from another list or from a file. And this is a generic drag and drop. So it looks very, it looks very specific, very targeted, but it's not. It's actually completely generic. So to show you how it's used, I put a feature in here called packages. And it's a very, very simple. It's a very, very simple implementation of just a very simple idea. So when I test mods, or if a person is testing mods for someone else, or even if I want to take source files or any file and I want to build a package, just basically a package, I can. I'll open this up here so you can see. Let's show the files in the package. So this particular list here is basically just a list of files. That's really what it is. It's the simplest form of any kind of list. And the package has a name. You can see the name of the package over here. So if I wanted to add this file to this package, I would just simply drag and drop this file and I would let it go, and it would now add that file name to this package. So what this allowed me to do is when I'm testing a mod, I can literally just say, okay, the mod author needs this output, or on a different note, I could actually put plugins, any files, source files. As an example, if I want to build a package with this application's source files, I could literally go in and say these are the source files, and all I would have to do at that point is just simply right click and say build package. And what it does, it's very, very simple. It simply creates a zip file with the file names that I want to include. There's the name of the package, and then it puts a date stamp at the end. And that way you can make multiple packages sequentially, during the day if you're developing or anything. And it will literally, they'll be separate. They'll have their own file name. So that's kind of the implementation of that. It's incredibly simple. And the drag and drop system that I refactored to include adding file names to and from a list. So this way you can go over to here and you can define a list, or you can define a form, and then you can drag and drop to make your own list of items. It's however you want to do it. So this is just a generic package, and it can be used for different features. And that's one of the things that I put in recently. Another thing I put in was, and my mind is actually blank at the moment. Wow. Man, I definitely need more coffee. There were actually two things that, man, either that or this is like an early onset of like dementia. I think dementia has struck its final blow. Oh my God. Okay, got it now. Took a moment. I've got it. All right. Man, thank God I don't edit my videos. I'm sure this is good for some comedy relief. Okay, so another thing that I added was database ability. So, most applications have very, very specific databases. Very, very specific databases that are designed specifically for the application you're using. So I was thinking, well, how can I make this generic? I want to make a generic kind of a database. So I put a feature in that allows me so one of the things I have here in this environment is I have a NAS box, right? It's a network access storage box. And this is where I put all my files. There's backups of them, but that's my primary box. So I need to know what's on that box. I need to be able to search for files, as an example. So I put in a very, very simple function that allows me to create a file list. Very simple. It uses a list of folders, so you can specify one folder name, or you can have 15 folders, and it will build this giant list of all these different files. And what that is basically a searchable database. So it's a text file. You could load it up with a text editor and search. But and the menu here is not specifically where they're supposed to be. This is just where I put them. So I stuck them over here in a reporting module. So, and what I did is, let's go ahead and close these real quick. What I did was I added, and this menu here, I know it looks specific to like, let's say, quote, quote, master list, but it's really not. It's just a bunch of built-in functions, and I'm saying, okay, I'm displaying a list. What is the item in this list? It's a master list. It's the name of a master list item. So I'm going to throw up menus which give you a function call to what's already in the code. Simple close. I'm closing the master list. So up here you can see where I already have done this. And what you can do is you can import. So we have an import feature. So you can import you can import a database. A master list is just what I call them because it's all custom code, but it's basically just a database. It's a dictionary. It's really a dictionary wrapped around. It's kind of like trying to explain it. It's a dictionary structure that can be embedded within itself. Same exact structure can be embedded as the object of a search, and then that object can be embedded in the exact same object. So you can have recursiveness down different levels. So your key might be target 1, target 2, target 3, and then I get the data for target 3. Or you can simply just have target 1 and then it shows the data. So this gives you the ability to actually load a text file, which if you actually saw it, would look something like, let's see, let's go back up here. I think I have it here somewhere. Let's see. I think I put it in F04 because I actually renamed it. Here we go. So you can see that it's just a list of file names, and they are relative files. And because it's a master list that you import, I could put a header up here saying what the folder is and all those kind of things. I don't really worry about it. I just consider just a straight text list. So there's 165,000 items in here. So what I want to be able to do is know whether I have the file that I'm looking for, in a sense. So because this is, I've imported that text file, and then that text file built a dictionary, and these are generic functions. So it's not specific for that file. It's just, here's a text file. I want you to build me a master list. You're going to import it. When it's done, I can access it randomly, or I can actually I can get to a specific record. So in a sense, if I want to search for, let's say, unofficial, then there is a list of all text strings in that file that have the word unofficial in it. So I don't need this. It's all, it's all multi-threaded, so I don't need this. And then you can go over here and we can look up something like, you can just look up something else. It does support wildcards. So it does support wildcards. It literally says if a wildcard matches or what you entered is a substring of whatever string exists as the key, it'll bring that up. So this allows a person to create different types of databases, and you can search those databases. This so you can literally have a database with any type of information in it, and then you can search that, if you need it. So instead of having this kind of layout, you could literally have a database over here, let's say, and then you max this out. So you can have like one database here you could search, you could have another database, if that's what a person wanted to do. And that way, if you're looking for a file, or it could be a reference to something. I use the very same system when I overlaid the form IDs onto a buffout log. It's the exact same system, except instead of putting something on a layout, instead of like updating the list item with the form ID, I literally just throw up the item. And then from here, depending on how you define the form over here, you define the form, that is what you see here. And then that will show you have your basic options, and then you have your injected menu options, which is what this is. This is injected. So you can have a base menu, which is what you see up at the top, which is, this, and that keeps you from having to repeat a lot of stuff. And then you have your whatchamacallit. And that's about it. Those are some of the two features with the subsystem of being able to drag and drop into certain lists. Because normally you can't drag and drop things into lists. Normally you can't do that. But I have it set up so that if you configure a list to be drag and droppable, then it can accept items, and then that adds whatever that reference is to that list, and that becomes a package. So this way, like what I say, when I was testing things, I could literally say, okay, I've done this test. I don't even have to look at the files. I'm just going to go build the package. That's what I'm going to give to the mod author, and then he can filter through it and pick out the things that he wants. Okay, just wanted to take a moment this morning and share that with everybody. And yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day and and a good week.